Hey, if you made it through the pandemic and your business is starting to see a return, but how is your bookkeeping? Well, Arnold Diamond of DebitFire is here to give us some tips on making sure your books are up to date. And Arnold, we were talking about this, is that a lot of people have been going through the pandemic and starting to get back into business, and they forget about their books. And the other part we were talking about, which is very important, is that they are starting to bring on investors, that it's a little bit different than what your bookkeeping for yourself has been to when you're starting to bring on investors to get your business back up. And that's where your team comes in, which is so important. So let's touch a little about that, because there's a lot that goes into now having to present to investors and different people.
Right, so the most important part of our generally boring business of bookkeeping is communication. And it is very important for anyone who has a business to be able to communicate well with their stakeholders, being their partners, their investors, their banks, and of course, everybody's partner, the Internal Revenue Service. So how you present yourself is very important, and sometimes the presentation is different from one stakeholder to another.
Yeah.
The other aspect of bookkeeping and accounting relates to how an owner understands their own business. We have, for instance, I had a conversation with a very nice client the other day, and they said, how can I be reporting $500,000 of income when I only have $50,000 in the bank? And we get into the discussion of cash flow and what it means to buy extra inventory and hold it, and what kind of cost that has.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And it gets very detailed. So we've been doing bookkeeping, accounting, tax, and payroll for many years. And I like to joke that I started out with an abacus. But my team is very well diverse and experienced. And we love our clients. We love our client base.
Right.
We love to be able to communicate with them, and that's our biggest.
And Arnold, I want to touch upon this because I know a lot of people have thought about using the apps and thinking that's great. That's good for a little point, but you really need to have that contact with someone who knows all the laws, knows what's going on. Because again, I'm a business person that doesn't have time to sit down and to read all the different, especially with the PP loan that came out. I mean, that is where the bookkeeper comes in, and that's where your team can help out. Right.
So certain things that you need to know tax law. We read almost every day IRS releases that come out, Journal of Accountancy, all types of information that comes out that's digested differently in the public. The newspaper, when they get it, comes out and they have a headline, and people run off thinking this is the way it is. Well, it's not always that way. PPP loans have affected businesses in various degrees and various ways. People have done incorrect things with the money when they've raised it. IRS is searching out people who've now bought themselves a fancy car. And they said, well, that wasn't what it was for.
Right.
And that sort of thing. So we help and advise clients. I have one client who's security business who tells me, I don't do anything without calling you first. I just like, why are you calling me? He says, well, I just want to say hello, and I'm doing this. Well, that's fun, that's nice. And he does. So we become a professional advisor designed to help protect the assets of our clients. Yeah. Our payroll division, of which we've been in the payroll business a very long time, is extremely different than an app. There are a lot of apps out there where a lot of business owners decide, oh, I'll just get on my phone and 6 payrolls and I'm done. Well, no, they're not getting the interactions with the state agencies, with the federal government. What happens if you have the wrong ID number put in? Those types of things, which seem small, create havoc and a lot of grief.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing sometimes with people starting to get back, where they look at the budget and they go, okay, you know what, I'm going to cut the accountant. I could do it over here. Or my son, who is in college, who's taken accountant classes, but not for business accounting, we're going to have him do it. But that's not the smartest thing to do, especially right now, as you said, the IRS and everyone's starting to go through people's finances after doing this loan to make sure everything's right, and that's where you can come in.
Absolutely, and it's where we feel that we have the most impact on our clients. We are close. I personally love to be involved with our clients. They tell you a lot of things about themselves that they wouldn't ordinarily tell you. Once trust is established, and trust is very important, and I would never violate a trust, and it's very important, and it develops our relationship very well. The other day I had a client who's we were on a Zoom meeting, and he announced to everyone, "You can call him any time of day. Call him Saturday night. He'll pick up the phone." Well, I like to be available.
Not like that.
I was like, eat dinner quietly.
So as we're about to wrap up, Arnold, give us one tip to make sure we're looking for the right accountant, a bookkeeper and stuff really quick.
I believe that first and foremost is somebody who has business experience, somebody who's understands your business and can communicate with you well. It is also very important for you as a client to communicate with your bookkeeper, accountant, tax advisor clearly and as openly as possible. It's the biggest problem we have is when people hold back.
Don't want to do that. Tell them how they can get a hold of you.
They can reach us by phone at 480-428-6171 or on our website, debitfire.com.
There you go. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.